Hello YouTube, my name is Fag. Welcome to my channel. Hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And here we go. We got What Actually is Blue Raspberry by a Weird Food History. Yeah, ready to learn about blue raspberry stuff? Alright. Let's find out about blue raspberry. Here we go.
Flavor: strawberry or grape or pina colada if you were the weird kid. However, there's an unspoken agreement that every flavor is based on something you'd eat in the real world, and nothing throws a funky monkey wrench into the works like blue raspberry. This Frankenstein's monster of sugary creations with its distinct electric color can't be based on anything found in nature, can it? Well, today we're heading into the flavor labs with one mission. What the heck is blue raspberry? But
Alright. So, every flavor is based on something in the real world except for blue raspberry. Well, there are raspberries, but I think they're usually red.
before we get started, be sure to subscribe to the Weird History Food channel and let us know in the comments below what other strange flavors you would like to hear about next. Okay? Time to become a blue raz sommelier. The flavor known around the world today as blue raspberry had a very humble beginning. Originally, the flavor was invented by a company named Gold Medal. They were purveyors of cotton candies, snow cones, and other sugary snacks. In particular, they sold an array of flavored syrups with their snow cones to help cool down hordes of small children during the summer months. Hey, lightening their wallets a bit is technically helping too. One of those flavors was blue raspberry. So why call it blue raspberry when everyone knows that raspberries are red? The answer is simple. They didn't want to get sued out of existence. In the late 1950s, many
Soon, really? I'm gonna get shoot out of red raspberries. That seems weird, I think. Don't tell me somebody patented a name raspberry.
people were suspicious of the alleged health risks posed by a certain type of red dye used in many
Red number 40, right? Or red number 4 or something like that.
raspberry-flavored items. So being associated with the dye wasn't great for snow cone sales. They also wanted to be able to differentiate the flavors from others that used the same color, like watermelon. Mixing up raspberry and watermelon is like tossing a hand grenade in an Easter basket. In 1957, an industry-wide test was done, assessing the carcinogenic capabilities of the dye and declaring red food dye number 2 was totally safe. However, this test was funded by the food industry, so it didn't totally convince everyone. Red dye 2 was banned shortly afterward by the Color Additive Amendment of 1960, which set a higher standard of food safety when it came to dye and color processing. So I guess people were right not to trust it. The flavor is an imitation of the taste of a black cap raspberry.
Sorry guys, I had to stretch real quick. My back is so messed up and my strategy feels pretty good. I'm sorry if I freaked you out.
Which is white rather than blue, although it's sometimes referred to as a blue raspberry. Turns out, red wasn't the right color either. Today, no berries are used in this process. But back in the 50s, real fruit was still in the mix. It wasn't until the 1970s that blue raspberry really took off as a flavor, when the flavor met the ideal means of conveyance. The icy.
Slushy.
The icy wasn't the first frozen dessert to feature blue raspberry flavoring, but it was definitely the most popular, taking off with Americans in the 1970s. Around the same time, Otter Pops introduced their electric blue water, and these two converged to propel blue raspberry flavor to unforeseen heights of popularity. Add to that the introduction of FD&C Blue Dye number 1, and generations of people around the globe fell in love with a fruit that technically doesn't exist. Gold Medal, the brand most centrally involved in the creation of the flavor, was founded in 1931. They originally made their name selling shaved ice with Plix Cola syrup. Today, we call these snow.
That's cool, isn't it? Not only getting a rundown on blue raspberry, but also snow cone stuff. That's neat. 2 for 1. Win-win.
It definitely rolls off the tongue better than Plix Cola syrup. Frankly, that sounds like the worst Star Wars character.
Oh, funny. Yeah, I know, right?
At the height of the Great Depression, a man named David C. Evans borrowed $2,000 against his home. He used this money to buy the King's Ink business, which would eventually evolve through decades of experimentation and innovation into Gold Medal. Gold Medal's first product was a drink concentrate, which was sold at carnivals and amusement parks. A drink concentrate is essentially a drink with all of the water removed, leaving only the pure, delicious juice, or booze, whichever you happen to be making. In 1937, after suffering a setback due to a massive flood, Evans pioneered the invention of selling not just shaved ice, but shaved ice machines. He named them snow cone cups and began distributing the machines along with syrups, dispensers, and popcorn machines, proving once again that the key to success is accessories. Just ask Barbie. As snow cones took off across the country,
Barbie girls.
So did Gold Medal's standing culturally. By the time 1949 rolled around, he had a massive office building and a gigantic factory manufacturing snow cone machines that were spewing blue Raz ices nationwide. So
I don't blame you, Spike. What kind of snow cone or slushy you gonna get, if you don't mind me asking? Something good, I hope.
while we'll probably never know who first brewed the flavor, you could trace the origins of snow cones and the introduction of blue raspberry directly back to David C. Evans. Along with the inexplicable rise in sightings of Bigfoot, blue raspberry took the world by storm in the 1970s. Are the two related? It's impossible to say. Whether or not it was spread across America by the noble Sasquatch, the flavor began to be featured in a wide variety of candies, including major schoolyard players like Jolly Rancher and Airheads. By the time the 80s and 90s rolled around, Blue Raz was the coolest flavor on the block for any kid worth their weight in Gatorade and sour gummies. And Powerade, if the store was out of the real stuff. Not only was the flavor firmly cemented in the cultural consciousness, but many people forgot it's not a real flavor. There are no naturally occurring blue raspberries. During the flavor's 90s peak, it became part of the extreme trend of advertising aimed at teens and adolescents, because blue raspberries are just that outrageous.
They got a blue Bigfoot. That's funny.
Believe it or not, there are more misconceptions around blue raspberry than just its name. The first misconception we should address is that despite being a fruit, sort of, blue raspberry is not a healthier choice than anything else containing tons of sugar. This probably sounds obvious to most of you, but during those years of telephone game-style rumors around Red Dye No. 2, the flavor somehow earned a niche reputation as some kind of superfood sweet treat. In general, your blue raz treat contains as much fruit juice as a melted blow pop. Speaking of which, despite being based on a real-life species of raspberry, blue
as much fruit juice as a melted blow pop, huh? That's a heck of a comparison, ain't it?
raspberry flavor isn't produced using any real berries, and hasn't been for some time. The flavor, as we all know it today, is entirely artificial. Now, blue raspberry's extreme reputation and totally rad coloration may seem almost quintessentially American, but the flavor is more worldly than you might have expected. It's very popular in Latin America, Japan, and South Korea. Many places in Europe also enjoy rollerblading with the blue raz. As with many of our cultural exports, it has now grown in popularity across the globe, like the Fast and Furious franchise, which itself is quite extreme.
Okay. Now I'm gonna learn a formula, I guess, of blue raspberry.
Okay, so we've given you all the sweet and sour details of the flavor's history, but you're probably still wondering what the heck is in it, considering fruit waved goodbye to the recipe long before most of us were born. In a nutshell, the flavor is a synthetic blend of flavor compounds, sometimes referred to as ester, which are carefully considered by chemists. They're then combined to reproduce and accentuate a flavor profile of various sweet and tart flavors. This is accomplished by utilizing ethyl butyrate, which is usually included for its pineapple-like aura, methylanthranilate, which brings a grapey flavor and a sort of flowery and earthy adjacent sensation, isoamyl acetate, which brings a completely different level of sweetness, and ethyl maltol, which is a sort of sharp.
I know I'm saying that's neat and all, but really all it do is listen off chemicals. Makes you kind of worried, don't it? About what's in candy and stuff nowadays.
Almost cotton candy-like note. The radness is added by tossing the mixture into a washing machine with an Ultimate Warrior t-shirt. The mixture is topped off with a raft of artificial sweeteners and then bedazzled with brilliant blue dye No. 1. and its retinue of stabilizers and preservatives. Blue dye number 1 doesn't go anywhere without a crew. That's why it's number 1. The recipe kind of makes it sound like a mad scientist's homebrew, and even
Yeah, it does. Sounds like a mad science experiment gone wrong, doesn't it? Or just kids,
though
right?
the Food and Drug Administration has approved every ingredient for human consumption, history might be repeating itself. There have been multiple studies done on the effects of Brilliant Blue specifically. Much like its forebearer, red dye number 2, Brilliant Blue has been linked to hyperactivity disorders in children and violent allergic reactions. Apparently, some people are allergic to Ratatouille. Today, Blue Raspberry is on top of the world. It's a firmly entrenched flavor, known and celebrated around the globe. It's also a flavor that only exists as a commercial product, which adds a strange novelty to its existence. It's the cryptid of fruit flavors. Maybe Bigfoot really was behind it. So what do you think? Are you a Blue Raspberry fan? Let us know in the comments below. And while you're at it, check out some of these other weird history food videos.
Alright, that was what actually is Blue Raspberry, a weird food history. That was fun, wasn't it, people? I thought so. Well,